Downloading Light Live Event. Online channeling for a live audience with Sin Mariani.
I have been doing some shadow work recently, and I've had some revelations come through to do with a lack mindset.
Yes.
Being in part of why I am still feeling lack, or still not with someone. My business is sort of stalled, and I'm not feeling the love for it that I used to have as much as I want it to be there. And I'm wanting to know, whilst I'm accepting of where that's all come from, what else can I do to help myself with this? What other information can Source provide?
Okay.
Like I said, it's more a theme rather than a direct question of, oh, where's my soulmate? It's not that simple.
Yes.
I understand that. It's more, what else can I do to enhance that? But it's not just specifically about soulmate. It's about the lack mindset, I think.
Yeah. And it's interesting that you have that awareness, because the lack mindset, or even when we're not in flow, shall we say, often people think it's just around money, or just around, say, for instance, love, rather than understanding, Lyra, that if the flow can, or should we say the flow that is blocked in any way, can be impacted in other arenas. And so it's important sometimes to examine, okay, what really is going on here? The first thing I see for you is there is still this sense, and please don't think I'm not, acknowledging your healing. I know that you've been doing a lot of healing. And so this is not about that. That's not an indicator of that. What I'm shown is that currently there is still this sense of you being tucked away like a little ball. A little bit like the little me, or the little Lyra, tucked away in a little ball within inside. That's still, in a sense, shall we say, she's smart. She's aware that there has been a lot of healing and a lot of shifts and changes going on, I want to say, within and around her. And yet there is still this sense of her sort of going, I want to know 100% that it's safe for me to come out now. And so this isn't you blocking flow intentionally. This isn't anything, I want to say, that's wrong with you or in any way even untoward. It's this notion that right now, energetically, spiritually, consciously, in terms of even, shall we say, ascension and all of that level of growth, there is still this sense of you that's not yet popped out. Not because you, I want to say adult you, doesn't already know or have the answers, by the way. It's more because it's the little you in a person, in a child, as we even say, is still tucked away. Now, the thing that I'm showing that will support her is now, and again, I'm not saying you haven't already done this, by the way, but it's you stepping into that space of, I'm adult, I'm here with you, and I'm going to open the door for you. I'm not going to force you to walk outside, but I'm going to open the door and show you some of these things that I want, which is you and her, by the way. We are one. I'm not separating the two. And showing her, these are the things that I'd really like to, live and thrive from and enjoy. And I want you to do it with me. Because she's ready. She just still needs this tiny little bit more of support, specifically from you. Okay, not necessarily anymore even from a therapist or a counselor or even your dear friends. It's this sense of you being there with her and saying, I'm opening the door. This is the big wide world. Will you come with me? Shall we go and play together in it? And it's like she seems to wake up from, it's quite a bit of a visual. She wakes up from this slumber, Lyra, just to realize even that she has grown. It's like she's been not asleep through all of this, but I want to say, quietly experiencing it all, but now she's ready to awaken. And when she does, and you two are in unison with this, then you will see that the things that the universe has already been lining up for you, and it has been and is, okay, is already there. It's around you opening the door. And as I said, encouraging her to be with you to go through this. You can't push her. If you push her, she might, she might back off and go, right.
Yeah.
Like this.
Yeah.
But if you welcome her with you,
oh wow,
she's getting ready to move forward. It's like she's been this little kid that's scared, but now she's reached what I want to call a really precious state of adolescence, not the awkward one where we're like pimply or voices are cracking or we're all hormonal and crazy. The part where we seem to come out and all of a sudden we are so beautiful and still fresh-faced and still youthful, and yet we have this confidence and this courage and this excitement about being alive. She's allowed to have that now. It doesn't matter if it took, her this many years or you, but she's allowed to have that now. Perhaps you couldn't have that when you were younger.
Yeah. Yep.
And yet now you have created this space for yourself.
It's safe for her now.
Yeah, it is. It's quite pivotal.
Very. You have no idea how bang on accurate you really are.
Yeah. You know how I do know, in a sense, though? It's the
I know you know, but yeah,
it's the feeling, it's that feeling. And I don't know if the others in the audience can feel this, but it's like this feeling that you get of her being ready. And the other reason why I said it's pivotal is because it's interesting that you weren't able to make the other live events that I've hosted. And yet you've made it tonight with this question, and it feels like your timing is now.
Yes.
It might not have been 2 months ago.
No, it wasn't. No, you are, 100% accurate with that one.
So I'm going to say this in sort of, I guess, the final wrap up for you, Leray, on this guidance is that you're not doing anything wrong. You're not making errors with manifesting. You're not, and I say this from source, by the way, there's nothing that you are doing wrong. It's just that you're now at a different level of being ready. And so all of the things that you probably already do, like whether it's gratitude journaling or noticing all of the beauty in your life and being appreciative and, shall we say, even daydreaming and feeling into what you would like, and even daydreaming about, sort of partner you would like, any of those things, even your creativity, any energy or excitement you feel around it, it's, shall we say, be even more useful and productive is the word I want to say.
Yeah.
More effective because of where you're at now. Welcome to the world, little Leray. It's an exciting one. It has much to offer you. And you've got a very, very wonderful, big-hearted and intelligent and creative guardian to guide you, which is you, the big Leray, the adult one. Yeah.
Thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you. Thank you for doing your growth journey too. All of us doing that growth journey is what's shifting. It's what's changing, what's going on in the external world, even if it looks crazy at the moment. It's because the big changes are coming through. So thanks to everyone for doing their growth. Thank you, Leray, for your question too. Thank you. Lily.
Hi.
Hey.
I don't really have a specific question, but I'm always curious, I guess, around relationships for me. What's in store for me?
So the first thing they're showing me, it's more energy at the moment. So the energy of you is this beautiful openness, Lily, that you have. So it's this openness all the way across. And yet down one side of the body, the right hand, it's almost like that right side, I'm going to say, down the right sort of shoulder and arm is a strength. And it's almost the masculine. And I suppose technically speaking, we say the left is the divine feminine, the right side is the divine masculine. But that aside, it's this sense of this strength and this robustness of standing tall, being strong, being ready to be there for yourself. but learning how to be there for yourself when being with another. And so this time I want to say there are shifts, because it's like you could be in a relationship or enter into a relationship with another, and yet you stay grounded. Your feet are on the ground, and it's as if the relationship comes, or the connection comes in and around you without you, I want to say, leaving yourself and going towards it. And I don't know if that's what you've done in the past, but it's the way they're showing me. It's as if that there could be this tendency to almost lose yourself, or to lose your balance, and to, go off and be immersed in this other person. But wait a minute, where's Lily? And yet this time it's going to feel different for you too, because you have this groundedness. You may confuse it with you being, it's almost hypervigilant around how you're doing relationships. You might also confuse it with feeling like, am I holding back, or am I not giving enough? And it won't be that, but it will feel different to what you've ever experienced, because of the work, the growth that you have done. And I also want to say, because of the awareness that you now have about yourself, who you are, and also who you are wanting to be, aiming to be in a relationship now. Does that all make sense?
It does. I have lost myself in the past.
Yeah.
Relationships.
Yeah. So have I many times.
Yeah, I sense that change in myself, in that growth.
Yeah. And so the guidance also around this, Lily, is that walk tall and proud, not because you're going to be cocky or egotistical or think that you're better than anybody else. You're not. But you are invited to walk in your own confidence around who you are now, and allow yourself to fall into that sense of comfortableness with yourself. It's you who's providing security for you. And not that you can't, of course, share or exchange that with another. Yet fundamentally, you have now found what it is to be secure in oneself, to be there for you, to protect you, to look after you, to listen to what your needs are and attend to them. And I get the sense that that's going to be unwavering to a degree now. And again, it might make you feel like, am I not giving as much? Or am I not letting this person in as much? Am I not getting as close? And that's the part I get a sense that you need to be really aware that, no, this is me being healthy. And that might feel a little different, but it doesn't mean I'm in any way cut off from this. Yeah. Do you feel excited about what's to come? I have to ask that, don't I?
I do, because I feel positive that something good will come. So I do feel excited about it.
I feel like you can. I feel like you can be excited. And again, the mind, this is for everybody, the mind can think that it knows everything and it wants to know everything. And you probably hear me say this a bit about what's to come, or how things should be. And yet every time we step aside and we let go of what the mind, thinks or knows or expects, we're delighted in an even bigger way. And I get that sense for you, Lily. There is this beautiful image of life, or reality of life, that is coming your way. And it's like when it's, vibrant colors, and it's like the sky is, that beautiful cerulean blue, and the sun's shining brightly, and you can see the shadows and the light dancing across the leaves of trees. It's that sense of, it's crystal clear and it's beautiful. And it's going to require you being very open to what I want to say the universe wants to gift you. Yeah. Be very open. It might surprise you. That's probably the best way to say it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Good. My pleasure. Total pleasure. It's exciting. It's exciting, if you can, let go of any little bits of the fear or the concern or the worry, but come back to the excitement of, even if I don't know exactly how all this looks, when, how, who, what, why, any of it, trust, because it really is remarkable what's coming. Yeah. Wonderful. All righty. Thank you, Lily. Thanks for your question. Okay, Victoria, would you like to ask a question?
Yeah, so basically my question would be whether I have failed my daughter and the choice that I made. Yeah.
Let's have a look. Okay. Thank you for trusting me with this question too, because I do feel the, I'll call it the seriousness of it for you. So thank you. All right. The first sense I'm shown is, I don't know if this is how you feel or interpret what has happened, but it's this sense of you feeling like perhaps, don't know whether it's now or it's happened, this sense of you pushing your daughter in a sense away. And there are reasons that I want to say, you know, why you have taken certain actions, even decisions, or you could even say sometimes inactions around things. Yeah, while it may not necessarily make sense to any others, the thing that I get, Victoria, is that you have done your best, in a sense, I want to say, when times have been challenging and you have struggled to make sense of matters and to make these matters work. And you could say you were not going to necessarily get it all right or all perfect. And in a way, I don't get a sense that you could have anyway. And the reason being is that there's some significant learning here. The learning that you and your daughter needed to get would not happen otherwise if other factors weren't what they were. That can help us sometimes understand that there is a bigger picture. Now, as parents, we feel so responsible. We want to do our best. We want to do everything we can for our children. And even those like us with the best intentions, we are not going to get it perfect, and we're not going to get it all right. And we're also not going to be able to protect them from hardships or challenges or hurt or pain or disappointment or all the other things that they have to live through as human beings. That ultimately helps them understand others, helps them develop compassion, empathy, hopefully kindness towards others, and patience. Your daughter was going to come into this picture, yeah, and it might feel a bit zigzagged energetically, like it's a bit, at times been a bit jolting, and yet she still comes close to you, is what I'm shown. And so it's almost like someone that's come close and then maybe something's happened and they've felt like they've gotten a bit of a shock and they've bounced away, but they've come back, gotten a bit of shock, come back. And yet she keeps coming back. And underneath, the thing that Source shows me is that there is a very genuine love that your daughter has for you that would be good for you to, first of all, remember. And that within even some of the interactions between even you and her, your daughter in her own way is learning about unconditional love. She's an advanced soul, I want to say, in ways. And probably you pick up on that. Maybe you even, recognize that she's old soul. And so while you have been figuring out your own frequency, so that it's not this sort of almost like a shock, push away coming from you, while you've been learning how to balance that out more and what you need to do even externally to balance that out more, her love hasn't faded. That's the beautiful part about this. And I feel a bit emotional saying this to you, but as soul, she has come through. She knows you, and she's chosen to come through knowing that she could have the strength to be resilient as you went through the things that you needed to go through. And so, again, everything is so incredibly orchestrated by the divine, like it truly is. In this sense, here is somebody that has some big life learnings to go through, and yet you've been given this soul in your life very close to you as a child that was going to keep coming back and keep giving you love. It's going to keep showing you that love almost to the point that you get to grasp the notion that you do deserve love so that you can give yourself love. And that's what you're doing. The only thing that I do get shown in this that's going to be helpful for you, Victoria, as much as possible, the best thing you can do is to release any of the remorse, or it could be guilt, or any of the, shall we say, even memories or judgments that you have of yourself that you may be holding on to. And this is where it's about kindness and compassion to self. You've done your best with what you've known at any given time. And yes, now you might know better and you might be doing things differently, but you didn't know those things before. And it's the same for every single one of us as parents, as human beings, as partners, and even as children. This sometimes helps us understand our own parents, that sometimes they might do a pretty crap job in our estimate. And yet, when we truly reflect, we often discover that what they've lived and what they've learned and what they don't know, that they really were doing the best that they knew up till then. I hope you can feel this. It's like a big surge of love from the divine flowing through for you to remind you that you are loved, that everything is going to be okay, and that you're allowed to start creating anew. And yes, it doesn't mean that you're going to, shall we say, go into denial about what was, but you're also not going to beat yourself up with it either. You're allowed to focus on, who am I now? How am I doing things now? How have I set up my life even now for this to start to be better for me and therefore for others around me? Does that help?
It does, yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
I understand it all, yeah.
Yeah. It's big learning. That's what it is, Victoria. And we all do this in different ways. Some of us do it as children of others. Some of us do it as parents of children. Some of us do it in both of those ways or more, or as partners, as bosses. That's your big learning. But the part that, I hope that you can acknowledge is, like Leray, actually like all of you so far this evening, and Lily, you've courageously decided to, I want to say, to open your eyes to the truths that you wanted to face and to start to grow through them. And that takes courage. And you deserve it. Your daughter's love's special. I've got to tell you that. I don't know who she is, but I feel her. I feel the beauty of her. And I feel this unwavering love that she has for you. And it's okay to even say to her, baby girl, mummy's messed up, but, we're going to do this differently now. I say that to mine sometimes. Say, I don't really like how I was with you just now, but I'm going to be aware next time. I'm going to do this a bit differently. And she's like, okay. They often forgive us, faster than we forgive ourselves.
Hi, good to see you.
You too.
I mean, you've been supportive on this journey for me this year, Sin, anyway, in our one-to-ones, which have been amazing. And I've been working on this project of opening a space in partnership with someone and actually having to step away from doing that, even though I've been manifesting and thinking it was on track, and but then actually realizing I can't choose that partnership dynamic anymore. So that's not in alignment and not good for me, but that there's loss that comes with that in letting go of the space and the vision. So I guess and I know that I'm I don't even know what I need guidance on, because I know that it's about me healing something karmic around relationships that aren't in alignment with what I deserve. But I do feel like I have this recurring thing of thinking that I'm creating something amazing in business and that I'm on track, and then the rug is pulled. And whether that's self-sabotage, I don't think it is. Is there just something intrinsically bad there, or what is that piece for me? You know, what is that about? Why does that? I mean, I know that we keep learning things until we get it, and there's a piece around like standing in my authority, and yeah, I'm skirting around, but if you could tune in and give me whatever guidance you think around that, because there's loss there, you know, there's loss of that vision that I had for space, and but do I walk away from that friendship too? You know, like there's just lots of different layers to it, and obviously losing that space when I've been like really in the vision of it for all of this year, you know.
Yeah, it's big. The first thing they show me, it's like you're being belly up, tossed over on your back, and you being belly up, and in that sense, the vulnerability is belly up facing source, divine, universe. And it doesn't mean there's not an uncomfortability there or a squirming even within you that wants to just get out of that space and wants things to be different. And, you know, rightly so, I understand why you would feel that. And yet Source, it's almost like Source wants to gently put the big giant God finger, I'm going to call it, on your little tummy, as if you're a little bug that's flipped over, and just to gently touch you on the tummy and say, stay there for a minute, it's okay. Not because I want you to suffer, not because I want you to be in fear, but I want you to know it's okay to be in that state of surrender in this moment, and just to sit with it, and just to be with it, and to not have to even, what Source is saying, resolve it yet. And again, not because the divine or Source would ever, you know, pin you down and do that. It's not what I'm getting, not what I wish for you to understand either. It's the opposite. It's like, I will almost stroke your little, you know, your little bug belly, you know, if you're a bug, and give you reassurance while you're there, if your legs are going, just to go, it's okay, keep breathing. Because soon you're going to right yourself, you're going to flip back over, and you're going to go about your business, and you're going to be scurrying and really fast and going right onto this now. And at the moment, though, you're in that state of, as I said, of being on your back and being vulnerable. And there's a lot of wisdom that comes from staying in that space. Humans, we avoid it. We'll avoid it at all costs, that space of uncertainty or of feeling like things have happened out of our control. We don't like it. We feel like we have plans. They should just happen. We manifest, we dream, we call in, it should just happen. And yet we forget that there is always this overarching picture that's here to serve our soul growth, that's here to restore us back to love, back to our own truth, back to even sometimes the light missions or paths that we came here and agreed to, shall we say, live and contribute in the ways that we said we would do that as well. So for you, Karen, you and your, I'll say this person that's your friend, while it may not have worked out completely as business partners, there's a bit of an oil and water type consistency to the two of you working together. While it may not have worked out like that, you can do the friendship. It's just a separateness, and the friendship doesn't need to entail that oil and water trying to mix. And so in that sense, she can be her oil, which works for her and her creativity and what she's doing. And your water of emotion, of flow, of wanting that to be, I want to say, widespread, can also be. It doesn't get tangled up anymore and in a sense stopped. And if you want to look at it this way, that feels why, and thank you for the nods, that's the reason why this couldn't go ahead. Not that this person's a bad person, but their ways and your ways are, it's like their oil would choke your water, your flow, your stream in the end. That's not what you've come here to live. So you haven't, a bit like I've said to the others tonight, you haven't made a mistake here. You haven't got this wrong. You are not being punished. It's none of that. This is around the universe sort of going, that's not really aligning, and that's not really what we're needing or wanting in a way. And yet, planet of free will, we make the choices. but you made the choice to enter into this knowing certain things and thinking, okay, I'll give it a go and I can figure it out. And good on you, because sometimes you might not have known otherwise. But now it's, how do you let go and release what in the sense has been? Let your waters dam up for a bit, and that's okay. Let them restore, let the, that water level rise while you get ready for the next thing, because your direction's the other way now. And it feels like that. It's away from this, I'm going to say again, this space and what's been. It's to go over here. It's like rushing waters that want to go downstream that way. And let it. You might be in your little boat on those streams, still looking back at the space, going, oh, but I want to do something with that space. Look over your shoulder. You're allowed to. The universe isn't going to stop you. But make sure your main focus is where your boat is traveling with that stream, because there's lots of good stuff for you there. You might circle back on dry land and run back up to the space at some point in time with a rusty old key and open it back up and go, all right, now what are we going to do? But there's this energy that's going to move you in another direction, Karen. And in that sense, you're going to need the vitality, I want to say, for that. So if you have to be belly up for a bit to slow you right down, if you can find acceptance of that, let it be what it is. Take a breather so that you can be ready for what's next for you. Do you follow all that okay?
I mean, do I follow it? It's like spot on, of course. It's amazing. Thank you. Yeah, spot on, mate.
Yeah. Good. Let it out. I think there's a lot of releasing that has to happen with this group tonight. There's big shifts and big changes, for all of you. And Karen, you're another, shall we say, I don't want to say example. That's such a poor word. It's almost condescending
reflection,
or minimal.
maybe.
Yeah, a reflection. But you are a beautiful reflection of that big shift and that change. Everyone, when we grow and we are consciously being aware of who we are, how we are, what we want, there are going to be the growth pains. And there are going to be the times like, again, a gawky teenager where I don't want to be pimply anymore. And for the guys anyway, I have my voice sort of squeaky. I just want to get to that part where I'm tall and handsome again and got a great, deep, sexy voice. We all want to get past sometimes the awkwardness stages, and yet it's part of it and it's okay. It's not going to be our forever. But the one thing that I will say that all of you have come here with tonight, and this bit is, I think, really quite special. You all actually do have visions, aims, understandings, ideals of what you do want for yourselves and from yourselves. And again, sometimes it's good to keep holding on to that, even if it hasn't fully manifested right now. You are on your way. You're doing this. You're on your way. You're walking towards it. And I hope that everyone can remember that, and that can help you tread a little more lightly with yourself and enjoy where you're at right now, because you're not doing anything wrong. It's not bad. It's just what it is for now. But the big changes are coming for all of you in wonderful ways, I'm happy to say. This is what I love to see. It's why I love to do this. It's reminding people of really who we all are, what we're doing, the achievements that we're making, not what the mainstream narratives want to say about humanity. We are not hopeless. We are not doomed. We are growing faster than ever as individuals and collectively. And that's something that we also need to be aware of.